let's talk about runes. I've had a couple people tell me that what would benefit them are if I were to upload a video on runes, right? And so for the new players out there who don't know the color coordination for runes and what that entails, I want to demonstrate it for you, which means I actually need to exit out of this. So you know what? Let's just exit out and then we'll come back. All right. So we're going to look at a superstar. Let's look at my Camilla, right? So she's unviolent, and we're going to look at a white rune. Now, white runes, all runes come in grades of 1 to 6 stars. 6-star being the highest, and max rated offers 63% on attack, right? And they typically have no sub-properties. Now, what that means is that at every +3 interval, it will gain a sub-property, a completely randomized sub-property. That's for a white rune. For every rune set, or for every rune grade, correction, wow. For every rune color, you can earn a extra sub-property that's completely randomized based on its color. So for example, at white, every level it's going to get one. So at blue is, no, correction. After white, we have green, which I'm stuttering over because I don't have one. Here's one. Green. Green is the first rune that offers one sub-property. So at a +3, when it has an opportunity to gain or bonus, it's not going to gain at +3 because it already has one. So the only alternative for that rune is to power it up. And the randomization, I believe it's randomized, the power-ups. I don't know any actual mathematics for it, but it's completely randomized. So if I were to power this rune up, which I'll go ahead and do for you guys, why not? I've got a million mana to burn. It is going to power up, and it's going to power up that one sub. Now, once it gets to +6, it's going to earn a new sub property. The reason for that is because it already had a sub. So because it has a sub already, it cannot earn another sub. So the only alternative, again, is to power it up. So at +6, it's going to earn a bonus property. At +9, it will earn a bonus property. And at +12, it will earn a bonus property. So as you see this one, this sub increased. Now, if I go ahead and show you, let's show you what it's going to look like when I +6 it. We might have some good luck and we might have some bad luck. For the record, guys, I'm never going to use this rune. Just demonstrating it for you, you know? So I'm taking one for the team here, guys. Just taking one for the team here. All right. So you hope that you're going to get the random one you want and that it's going to be a percentage. That's great. Typically, it would be either a percentage or it's going to be a flat, you know? And in those worst moments where you have a super awesome rune that you're really excited about and it powers up and it gives you an HP flat and you're just devastated. Oh my God. So now it's converted into a blue rune because it now has how many subs? It has 2 subs. So blue corresponds to 2 subs. Purple corresponds to 3 subs, and legendary corresponds to 4 subs. Right? So now we'll look at a purple rune. Let's look here. This is a usable rune. So purple runes come with 3 subs. Let's talk about the stat underneath the main stat. So this is a slot 5, which is always HP. And do you see where it has that attack +11? Now that can never be modified or altered in any way. Not from raids, not from powering up, from nothing. When it's under the main stat like that and it's in its own column over there away from the substats, it's perfect because you don't ever have to worry about whether or not it's going to be affected on a power up. Now, the way I look at runes is simple mathematics. We have 3 sub properties here. So you're looking at this rune and you're like, shit, this is a blade rune and I want it on a damage dealer. I do not want it on a non-damage dealer, so I don't really want it on a tank, so I don't want that defense to roll. I want that speed to roll and I want that crit damage to roll. So out of 3 stats, I have 2 stats that I want to roll. So I have a 66% chance to roll positively in my favor because there are 3 substats here and each one has a 33% chance to roll, right? So it's mathematics here. That's how I personally do my runes. Everybody will offer different insights on the way to do their runes, but I like mathematics because It's numeric, it's valued, and there is no argument for convenience. There is no opinion. There is no manipulation. They're numbers. They're there. And logic is easy to be ruled by when it's, numeric. And you see what I'm saying there? Speed plus 11 on a plus 3 rune. I mean, that's freaking awesome. Imagine if I get this to roll like 20 speed. Oh my god. And then I freaking amplify it from an enchant grindstone. Oh man. This is going to be like the best video ever if that were to happen. It's still the best video for you guys. Hold on, correction. It's still the best video for you guys. But that would be totally awesome. All right, so we've got all 3 stats there. 33% chance to roll on either one of them. And I want speed or crit damage to roll. So I have a 66% chance that either of them are going to roll. So 66% in my favor, 33% odds against me. And let's try it again. Let's see what happens. Come on. What are we wishing for here? I think we're going for a little crit damage right now. We already got speed. Speed is kind of nice. I would like crit damage, maybe 10% and speed 16 or so. Oh, 17. All right. We're going to go again. Just because we're getting lucky now with this rune here. That's some nice speed. Okay. Now, so after we do a purple rune, which is called a hero rune, we have the one that everybody wants the most, the legendary runes. Now, legendary runes are very, very tricky. Those are the runes that give you very low probability of turning into something special because it's 25% on each sub. They have four sub properties. Either of them are going to roll any of the 4 of them. It's completely randomized. It makes it very difficult to really capture what you want your end result to look like because anything can roll. And therefore, if you have a flat, 2 flats and 2 percentages, and those percentages you really, really want because it's a 6-star rune and they're already like 8% subs and they can roll into like 14% on a single roll, then that would benefit you. Oh, quick thing. When I say roll, it's just a common term that I've picked up lately. It just means for the stat to increase. So the way we have powered up this rune twice at the +3 and +6 interval and speed has increased twice, well, that means it's rolled twice. Just realized that I'm talking to you guys and I'm using a term you might not even know. And oh my god, OMG, defense rolled. Still a very usable rune. Can I enchant it with something? Oh, what do you know, buddy? All right, Childish Plays. Yeah, buddy. Quick shout out. Yeah, buddy. Took his line. And all right, this is actually a very nice rune. I would totally use this. This was a good moment to show you guys what amping a rune looks like. I just took a rune, made it for you guys in video, a rune that I will be using. That was a grindstone that I got in a raid somewhere, and I took a sub property that qualified categorically, means it corresponded to that same rune. Defense percent can be amplified by defense percent, and I used it. And you saw, what was it, 2 to 6% or something, or maybe 3 to 6, and it was pretty good there. All right, now we have a legendary rune. Nope, that's already. Wait a minute. Let's find something that is not maxed. Huh. I mean, you always, as soon as you get a legendary rune, you max it because you're curious. Okay. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. Here we go. So this is what I'm talking about when I say ouch for legendary rune, right? Because it has very low crit damage to start, so 3%, defense flat, defense percent, and then speed. So looking at this rune, I personally am going to want 2 things to roll. Crit damage or speed. Or actually, tell you what, I might want defense to roll only because it's a guard set, and typically I'm using a guard set for defense, so I guess if defense, speed, or crit damage rolls, I wouldn't be too upset as long as the defense flat doesn't roll. But here we go. Let's talk about what this means. So there are 4 sub-properties here. So since there are 4 sub-properties, I have a 25% chance for each of them to roll one time, right? So there's 25, 1 out of 4, 25% for crit damage to roll, 1 out of 4, 25% for defense flat, and the same for speed and defense. And because this is a legendary rune, it doesn't get upgraded into another color. It's already at the max. And basically that means that it can be powered up 4 times, right? +3, +6, +9, and +12. That's 4 times a sub property can be boosted. So 4 subs can be rolled. Typically what we want is we want the same subproperty we're hoping for to roll a couple times. I just want to jump in here real quick on a side note and see if they're online. And if they don't roll, then you know like a balance. Like I'm pretty cool with a balance. It doesn't have to be speed plus 20. Not everybody gets that lucky, but I'm pretty cool with some fairness. And they're not online yet. It's okay. It's all right. No worries. No worries. We talking about runes here. This video was an idea provided to me by my guildmates. They kept telling me make videos around runes, make some videos around runes. We don't ever see any famous YouTubers talking about rune sets and what you can do with the runes. So I figured let me give the people what they want. So I hope I have provided a good explanation of what you can look at and what hopes you can have once you have a rune and you're thinking about what to do with it. So let's show you a couple things that I've done with runes. So this is my tour. So right off the bat, this is how I decide what I want to do with runes. So you think of a monster, right? This is rune setting 101. You think of your monster, and you have to ask yourself two questions. What am I going to use to optimize his skills? And how will I best optimize his utility? And so basically what that means is, how am I going to use him? And how can I make him the best for that use, right? So Tor is a nuker. That's what he does. He is a pure nuker. There's no reason to put HP on him. There's no reason to do anything but build him as a damage dealer because skill 1, it just is a solid attack that leaves dots continuous damage, which is damage over time for 1 turn. Skill 2 is a high damage single target attack that scales on attack speed. So the more attack speed you have, the stronger it becomes. What does that mean? Well, that means that I want him to be as fast as possible. More speed equals more damage. So I want attack on him with crit damage, and I want speed on him because higher attack damage plus attack speed equals all-out damage. And then you want crit rate to trigger all of that, and also because this skill also scales off a critical hit. Then we have skill 3, which is a single target / AoE. It will deal massive damage on one target, and then that selected target will freeze for 1 turn. And then the other 3 targets take, minimal damage. Now my Tor is runed Swift Energy. I did energy set instead of blade because I wanted him to have, some measure of HP on him. He doesn't have a lot. He dies so much. But I wanted to maximize his speed and his damage. A lot of people ruin Tor on Violent. I like him on Violent. I prefer him on Violent. However, for what I use him for, I have no need for anything other than Swift. And if you guys look at my video where I demonstrate Tor Swift versus Tor Violent, and then you look at some of my arena battles, and you'll see my Tor landing 50k on defense break. I mean, he just does massive damage. I mean, 50k is, in arena at the Guardian level, where people have defense runes and defense sub-properties and all these crazy godly runes, it's a lot of damage. So that's what I was thinking here. I was thinking to myself, what do I want him for? Well, the answer is I want him to nuke. How can I optimize his skill? Well, I want a Swift set because his skill 2 scales off speed. And then I want energy because I want him to be, a little survivability. And I want to give him attack runes all around damage, right? So I was able to get pretty decent speed on him without sacrificing slot 2. And I was able to do that between sub-properties and the Swift set. And then I was able to just attack crit damage. Same thing with Camilla. Now, Camilla, actually, you know what? We'll talk about her just because I brought her up, and she's not really the right monster to really talk about. Let's go through some farmable units after this instead of nat 5s. Camilla is a tank, right? So you want her violent, not even because you want her to get multi-turn so she can nuke. It's more around her passive. Her passive clears negative effects, and it also heals 10% HP. So that means every turn she gets, HP increases by 10%. So you want her to have as much HP subs as possible and speed on her so that she gets more turns. This is why I believe the ultimate build on Camilla's Violent Nemesis. If you guys want to check out a couple cool Camilla builds on Violent Nemesis, there's a couple global server players who have them. Inked Host, Green Paladin, Scat Fetus. They have some pretty awesome builds on Violent Nemesis. You know, and for you guys to know what Nemesis offers, Nemesis is a two set that offers 4% attack bar increase for every 7% HP loss. So basically, that means the more HP you lose, the more turns you get. And I think that's awesome. For the record, just on a quick side note, not to go and jumping on tangents, so sorry for the distraction, but I personally believe that Nemesis is the number one rune set for raids. I'm not big on violent in raids. I personally think the raid is the most technical. It's now the most technical and strategic aspect of the game. There are multiple Guardian 3 and top players around the world who they just, in all due respect, guys, they just get shitted on in the raids. I mean, you can look up a couple of videos on YouTube where you'll just see some top level players, and I don't want to say their names because I don't want anybody to say that I'm, going off on them. But Raid 5 is no joke, right? It's no joke. So, I think that with that being said, when it comes to planning for something that technical, you want something, number one, you can rely on. And number two, the dragon is built-in Nemesis. In case you guys don't know this, one of his passives is, as the battle gets longer and he takes more damage, it's quarterly. He does those AoEs per quarter. Every 25% HP loss, he does that big AoE. He gets a higher attack bar. It begins to replenish faster. So he essentially has built-in Nemesis, one of those passives. So my logic is, as the dragon's HP drops and his attack bar goes faster, I want mine to do the same thing. I want to be able to hold my own with the dragon. As he gets more turns, I want to get more turns. The worst thing is the dragon gets more turns, you get less turns, and then you're just getting demolished left and right, and you're using units left and right. Like, nobody wants that. So that's a quick build on what I think Nemesis can offer in the raids, and why Camilla on Nemesis, or Nemesis in general, is pretty cool. Next, let's talk about Galleon. Now, for those of you who don't know, Galleon is such a huge, tremendous support monster. The reason for that is he has a skill 1 that offers defense break, single target defense break. Skill 2 that offers a single target 30% attack bar reduction, so that comes super handy in high tense arena battles, and you've got a Veramos who's about to get a turn. Your monsters don't have immunity. You've been monitoring the skill countdown, and Super Smash is coming up, and all of a sudden all of your monsters get stunned. You hit that skill, and all of a sudden your Theo gets his turn before Veramos and kills Veramos, and it's a game changer. So that's the strategy behind his skill 2 move. But that's not what makes him special. What makes Galleon so special and an all-around support all-star is his skill 3. His skill 3 is an AoE defense break. I should have been showing you these as I read them. It's an AoE defense break, plus it offers attack power buff to all of your allies. So he weakens the enemy defense, which means they will take more damage as their defense broken, and he maximizes the damage output of your allies by providing an attack buff. I mean, my goodness, it doesn't really get much better than that. Ritesh, for the Wind Nat 5 Beast Monk, he offers an AoE defense break, and then more commonly used is Lure. Lure also offers something similar, but between the three of them, I think I like Galleon's AoE defense break the most. So, rune build for Galleon. What do you want? Well, you definitely want speed on him. You want him to be as fast as possible because you want him to go first amongst your 4 monsters. You want him to land attack buff. Attack buff / defense break. And then you want your nukers to go after. And so you want 2 things. You want speed, and then you want accuracy. You want 100% accuracy on him so all of his skills land. And what that means is quick rundown on accuracy versus resistance. So every monster in the game, in case you guys don't know this, they have an automatic 15% resistance. So even though it says 0, there's always a 15% trigger. It's just built in. I don't know the reasons behind it. I don't know how it is. I was reading a Come To Us forum one time, and it came up, and it was always one of those things that I've noticed, here and there, playing throughout the game, where I'm like, holy shit, how did he resist it? That's the reason why. These monsters automatically have a plus 15 resistance pool. And so a monster has that resistance there, like my Ariel, say 100% resistance. And so when you take resistance versus accuracy, you're thinking about, I want accuracy to beat resistance so that my debuff lands and it sticks, right? And the reason for that is because this move Time to Loot says that on skill up, it has 100% chance to land the defense break. So 100%, that's the skill effect. Now the skill effect can activate, but it's like a coin flip. It's all game strategy. You can activate the skill, but that doesn't mean that the harmful effect will land, because that's when the mathematics of accuracy versus resistance come into play. The skill effect did positively take effect. However, it was denied because Ariel has 100% resistance. And whoops. And because Ariel has 100% resistance, he doesn't get the debuff now. So it's always a battle between accuracy and resistance on that note. So you want to have as much accuracy as possible. This brings up a second thing. I'm glad we went into this. A lot of people don't take into account what a speed comp is. I'm bringing this up because we were talking about speed builds and accuracy. And so I want to talk about speed units. So a common speed comp that people are using these days is monsters that have a low speed turn to turn interval. That means they will have a numeric value of speed that's very low differential between each other, so that they go turn to turn, back to back. And so what that prevents, I'll give you an example. My Galleon has, let's say, because I'm not going to do the exact mathematics, I'm in a video, then I don't have it memorized. Let's say it's 174 speed. I use Chiwu. So my very first, let's say my arena lineup is Chiwu, speed leader. Then I have Galleon, Theo, and Tor. That's one of my most common arena all-out nuke matchups. I use Chiwu with his skill 3. He will destroy Chloe's shields and immunity against everyone, right? And then he debuffs it. His speed is 176. Galleon is now 174 speed. And the reason for that is because with the speed that close to each other, the only way a monster is going to get in between and clear those defense breaks that I just landed, or clear any of that and do damage in between, is if Veramos has 175 speed. And out of all of the numbers that he could have between, 110 to 200, I mean, what's the chances he's going to be exactly 175? So when you think about how you're making your compositions and your monster synergy, this is one of the things you want to take into account. You want to calculate the speed difference that you put between your monsters, because you want them to go turn to turn to prevent that. Now, one of the differences between Guardian level Guardian level defenses versus Conqueror level defenses. In Conqueror, you'll find 280 speed Bernards. They have the fastest teams. In case you guys don't know this, Conqueror typically has faster monsters than in Guardian, even though Guardian are high level players. But all that means is that we have better strategy and logic in our defenses than Conquerors do. And the reason for that is because they'll put a Bernard with 280 speed, a Chloe with 220 speed, a Veramos with 200 speed, and a Theo with 200 speed. And what they're not taking into account is what happens between the difference between the 220 or 240 speed Chloe and the 280 speed Bernard. That 40 speed difference, so many monsters can go. Half of my speed monsters will go in between those two turns and just clear all those buffs that you're going to land in that turn. So you don't want to have a huge gap like that, because it completely messes up your whole team. All right, so that was just a quick spiel on speed composition and such. So let's take a quick break and let's see if any of my guys are online yet for Raid 4, which is the real point of the video. I can't believe we're already 25 minutes in and we haven't even started this yet. Sorry about that. At least it's been informative. I feel it's been successfully informative. I clearly talk a lot, but that should be all right. Oh my goodness, no one's online. Okay, so you know what? I think I'm going to upload this video, guys, for you guys, because I think it's been very informative on advice for runes. So disappointing that I wasn't able to start Raid 4. I will post that video ASAP as soon as I get my guys online. Just so you guys know, Ink Toast, right here, he's one of the people I'm waiting for. And then I'm waiting for K-Hope. Him. As soon as they're online, we are going to get Raid 4 up and running for you guys. Is there any talking points that I missed? Let's just go through the runes one more time. So we covered, just a quick recap, because I kind of covered a lot here, and I want everybody to have a summary at the end that they can reference. A white rune does not have any subproperties. Because it doesn't have a subproperty, it will earn a subproperty because it can't have it powered up. There is no subproperty to power up. So the way you can think of it is there's always a preference to power up a sub versus earn a sub. Okay, the rune will always prefer to power it up versus earn one unless there's one that's already been powered up. So that means that on a green rune, oh my goodness. All right, any minute now. I think I had one in there and I powered it up. There we go. On a green rune with one sub property, it will power up. Now it has completely exhausted its option to power up a sub because it's been used. It had one sub property, so it's used that one sub property. Oh, so a good way of thinking it actually is the rune has as many power ups as sub properties it has. I like that way of explaining it. So if a rune has 3 sub properties when you get it, it has earned 3 opportunities to power up a sub. It's completely randomized, so remember, think of it mathematically. So a legendary rune with 4 sub-properties is going to have 25% chance for any of those 4 to roll, right? It has 4 chances to roll a sub-property because it has 4 sub-properties, and its color grade is, legendary, all right? All right, cool beans. Gave you a couple examples. We talked about it. All right, let's just double check this one more time, and then this is going to end up on YouTube, guys. All right, all right. All right, all right. All right, they're not online. All right, thanks, guys. Leave your comments, likes at the bottom. This video will be on Reddit and YouTube. Please feel free to comment or email any questions. And please, more than anything else, provide feedback and ideas. I would love to hear from you guys what kind of videos you would like to see. Thanks, guys.